We're going to run the table. A lot of people just kind of dismissed him not because of him. Everyone knows he's capable of playing great. It's that defense that was so bad. But the defense does suck, but he's just been so great that he's just been able to overcome it. Now, do I think Green Bay's winning the Super Bowl or even getting to the Super Bowl? No. No, I don't. But
I don't either.
Can Aaron Rodgers will them to an NFC Championship game? Maybe. The way he's playing right now? I think – and how inconsistent the NFC's been?
Well, I don't think Atlanta – I think Atlanta's got a phenomenal offense. Phenomenal. Their defense is so bad that I don't think their offense matters.
Who's to say Aaron Rodgers can't outduel Matt Ryan?
I think he
in a
can.
game.
I think he can. I think if by some chance, and it's not impossible, impossible that Atlanta ends up in Green Bay. It's not impossible. It's not likely, but it's not impossible.
Well, Green Bay wins that division. That's very possible. I mean,
it is,
yeah.
And they're going to finish up Week 17 against the Detroit Lions. They could be going neck and neck there. Atlanta may not win this division. Tampa's breathing down their necks. Now, let's talk for a second about the scenario. If Atlanta ends up against Green Bay, even in Atlanta, that doesn't mean a whole lot of anything. Atlanta's 4-3 at home. They've lost some home games, 5-2 on the road. They can move around. You put them in the cold weather. I don't trust Julio Jones' health. Toe, foot injuries for receivers spells bad news going forward. Yeah, Green Bay is on fire in the NFC. They could run this table and go 10-6 and win. They do. They win that division because they would have to beat the Lions to go 10-6. Minnesota's out, thankfully, because I don't want to see a team like the Vikings end up in the playoffs. I don't want to see it. That offense is atrocious.
No, they got embarrassed at home by the Colts.
Yeah, I don't want to see that happen.
No.
So they're out. Count them out. The Chicago Bears, actually, Matt Barkley doesn't suck.
Not really fair to me to comment because I haven't watched enough of them since he's taken over. It's not really so. It wouldn't be fair. Wouldn't be fair to comment, but I mean.
No, but if you had to guess, you'd go Matt Barkley sucks. Matt Barkley does not suck. Now, did I say Matt Barkley is the second coming of anybody good? No, I didn't. But you won't be able to
say. You won't be able to really make an assessment until. I'd say probably if he wins the job in the offseason next year and becomes their starting quarterback, then we'll find out.
Well, you'll find out. Yeah, you will. When the expectations get a little bit higher, but he's not a bad player at all. He's not. But I do think Green Bay finds a way to win that division. Detroit's still a decent football team. But Detroit got beat this weekend in a tight one against a New York Giants football team, which, by the way, they're 10-4 with a new head coach, a completely revamped defensive secondary, led by a defensive coordinator named Steve Spagnuolo, who got that job with the Rams as a head coach because this guy can coach the F out of some defense. Spagnuolo is a good head coach, and he wins championships as a defensive coordinator. That New York Giants team is so sneaky that if they were to get into the playoffs, and I think they are, they should be your NFC wild card. That New York Giants team could run the table in the playoffs. They can win.
Someone brought this up. I forget who it was, but they might be on to something here where they say, I don't worry about the New England Patriots unless they have to play the New York Giants. Because he said, I don't see styles make fights, and the Giants style has all. I mean, just even how it's constructed this year, they're different. It's same, yeah. It's the same team. They will
pressure.
It's that front four, that secondary, even that they have. It's a team. It's designed to give Tom Brady fits.
In their secondary, in their Super Bowl years, their secondary was good, not great. Good, not great. And that secondary right now,
very good.
They're pretty freaking good, man. Janoris Jenkins has been out, but when he's healthy, that guy is a ball hawk. Guys like Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie is just a really, really adequate player. And adequate in the secondary is pretty good. Doesn't get beat deep very often. Keeps plays in front of him. They hired and paid a couple young guys that can really, really play. And that Olivier Vernon on the outside that they brought in from Miami. Did they bring him in from Miami? I believe so.
I'm not. I think you're right, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, they did. That's a different defense than it was last year. This is a 10-4 football team right now, 15 weeks into the season. They're going to wreak havoc in the playoffs. They just have to win out.
That defense, the thing is, though, yes, they have arguably maybe the most dynamic football player on the offensive side of the ball in Odell Beckham. But the problem is, what else do they have on that offense?
You know what? This Sterling Shepard kid's a really, really nice number 2 as a young guy. He's a really nice number 2.
He's played well. He has.
Yeah. The running game's not so hot. Rashad Jennings coming back is good. Paul Perkins
Jane Vereen getting hurt again. That hurt. That didn't help.
No, I know. But Paul Perkins is not a bad young player either. They play Philadelphia at Philadelphia Thursday night. That's your Thursday night game at the stinking Lincoln Financial Field. They're going to go in there, and they should thump Philadelphia. I know this is a division game. Philadelphia's got nothing left to play for but pride. Pride's pretty big in the NFL, especially in division games. But
it's always a dick because there's two teams that know each other very well.
It is.
And that's all, in the NFC.
But I'm just so impressed by this New York Giants defense. I'm so impressed. They've given up the second fewest points in the NFC next to the Seattle Seahawks at 250 points. Third fewest right behind them is the Dallas Cowboys at 258. The Giants are the only team to beat Dallas this year, and they've done it twice. The Dallas Cowboys are 12 and New York Giants. Now, let's go to the Cowboys because they probably are the best team in the NFC. I'm not ready to call them the best team in the NFL because New England is still the best team in my eyes. But, boy, Dallas, Sunday night against the Buccaneers. Did you watch that game in its entirety?
I watched in and out of it, but it was a pretty good game.
What do I pay you for?
You don't pay me. Where the fuck my checks been? I've
been mailing them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dallas is a damn good football team. I've really been kind of in and out on Dak Prescott, not really willing to commit right away to say, oh boy, this kid can do it. He can't do it. I haven't been ready to do it, but right now, I do think that I think Dak's great. He makes great decisions.
He doesn't throw the ball down the field. He can run. He's an athletic kid. I think I just really love the situation that he's in. And yes, he's perfect. He's the perfect guy if you want somebody who's not going to lose it for you. But I don't know if he's the guy that's going to win it for you, though.
I don't know if he has to.
He doesn't. He's in a great situation. I called him earlier. I called him fortunate son as far as these rookie quarterbacks. He fell into a great situation. Great offensive line, a team that's been years put together in the making. Great offensive line. Just a lot of tools in the defense. Here's the thing about the Cowboys defense that normally that had been their Achilles heel of the past. It's a pretty damn good defense.
Yeah, it is. It is a pretty damn good defense for sure. They're really opportunistic. They get a lot of pressure. Who is this David Irving kid coming off the side, cut from the Kansas City Chiefs? He absolutely took over that game in the fourth quarter.
Well, you have the Cowboys. You don't see a lot of big stars on the defense. And compared to in 2003 when Ohio State, as far as defense goes, Ohio State played the Miami Hurricanes, where, if I'm not mistaken, the Miami Hurricanes on that squad had about maybe 8 or 9 guys pro-level prospects, where Ohio State had some really good players that did everything good, but nothing great. But they played so well as a unit, and that made the whole difference. And I think that's kind of what reminds me of the Dallas Cowboys defense. You're not going to find too many all-pros on that defense, but they're so good as a unit.
Well, I'll tell you, Andy Lee is a pro. He was out all year last year. He comes.
Sean Lee,
rather. Yeah, Andy Lee was the punter. Oops.
Different position.
Irving kid. If you made it into the fourth quarter of that game, this Irving kid, the defensive end who they picked up from the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chiefs cut him last year. He absolutely took over that game in the fourth quarter. And I'm telling you what, watching him, I'm going, superstar. Holy smokes. Who is this kid? Where did he come from? Superstar. Now, that Buccaneer offensive line leaves something to be desired. Here in the Tampa Bay area where I live and breathe and function, Buccaneer fans are of the belief that this team is ready to win right now. And I think they are. I think the Buccaneers are a team that they're a team that shouldn't have too much trouble going 8-8 on a consistent basis. Could very easily go 12-4, very easily. But you know how the NFL is. The NFL is a bunch of 8-8 teams, which are a couple plays here or there from being 10-6, or a couple plays here and there from being 6-10. It happens very easily in the NFL. But I watched this Buccaneer offense the other night. The Buccaneer offense isn't very good. Their offensive line isn't very good. They can't create holes for Doug Martin. Doug Martin was just average again the other night. But, yeah, Dallas defense, pretty good. Dallas should have beat them probably by about 13 points. I feel like Dallas left a touchdown on the field, and the Buccaneers came up big on a tip pass that Adam Humphries made a really nice catch on in the end zone. It was about a 50-some-yard touchdown that was not flukish. It was just, it was a fortunate
I thought
play.
Jameis Winston's headbutt or whatever, that dolphin tip nose thing that he did.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
After they were dragging Doug Martin.
I don't know. Things he's ever done in his professional career.
Yeah, I don't really understand what that was for.
You can't cost your team 15 yards.
Not when you're the quarterback. The quarterback should never cost his team, but no.
You can't do that, especially when you can't move the football. They didn't move the ball, and he didn't hit a target, anything outside of 15 yards all night long. Didn't hit a target. That big pass to Humphries was underthrown, and that's a long ball that you throw up in the air and your receiver tries to run under. That's all about that receiver beating coverage. It was in the double coverage. Humphries had a step. Winston underthrew the football. The defender, I don't know if it was Barry Church or who it was, made a really nice play on the ball, and it just happened to tip into Adam Humphries' hands for a touchdown. That's 7 points. That team didn't necessarily garner organically. That just happened. So I really think Dallas is a two-touchdown better team than the Buccaneers, but Tampa should make the playoffs. This is a team that can make the playoffs, and they're going to piss somebody off. If they got to travel somewhere, they're going to go beat somebody. And people are going to be surprised. Now, if they were under any circumstance to end up in Seattle, keep in mind the Bucs beat Seattle 14-5 in Tampa this year. If that Buccaneer team ends up somewhere near Quest Field in January, I want you to run to your nearest ticket booth and put a bunch of money on the Seattle Seahawks.
I agree. I 100%. I think that's a totally different match. If you would base that line or that game off of what we saw in Tampa, I think you're set to. Hopefully, you didn't put more than $10 on it.
Vegas will set that number somewhere around Tampa plus 5.5. And people will go, well, Tampa beat them this year, so let's go take Tampa in the points. And before you know it, that game is going to get bet, and the Seahawks are going to beat them by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, they will. Tampa's a team that might be able to make the playoffs, but they're not meant to win in the playoffs, I don't think.
I don't think so. They don't run the ball well enough. And I'll tell you what, another big issue the Buccaneers have. Mike Evans is an excellent receiver, but Mike Evans can't do this by himself. Cameron Braid is a fantastic tight end. I heard Jameis Winston in an interview this week call Cameron Braid elite. He's not elite. Stop it. However, he is a very good player. He really is, and he's going to be a good player going forward. But they need a second receiver. They need somebody who is on the outside to take the pressure off Mike Evans. It seemed like every time Jameis Winston threw the ball to Mike Evans, aside from overthrowing him by 10 yards, he had 3 men standing around him. It just didn't seem like he could get open, and that's not. Mike Evans is elite. Mike Evans is a top 5, top 7 wide receiver in this league without question.
I think in a lot of ways he made Johnny Manziel's college career. Other than the whole running around shit, I'd watch so many games on Saturdays where Johnny Boy be running around, scrambling around against Rice, and then throw the ball way up in the air, and then Mike Evans would just go grab it, and there was not a cornerback or safety in those vaunted SEC defenses. Of course, they couldn't. There wasn't a guy who could go up and get the ball. He'll just go get it. And,
I agree. I think that Mike Evans is an elite player and an elite talent, and certainly helpful to any quarterback who has him. But yeah, it's going to get real interesting down the stretch here. I think that Dallas is a fantastic football team. I really do think that Dak Prescott is a good player. I think he's really, like you said, he's the fortunate son. He has the ability of sitting behind that offensive line that to me, that's like a 1,200-pound MVP. It's hard not to say the Dallas offensive line isn't the most valuable personnel in the NFL, but they're not going to give that away.
I think they are. That's why I have a hard. I mean, as great as Zeke is, and I'm not taking anything away from the kid, and I've said this over and over again, just have a hard time giving him the MVP because of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's really hard to take away from his accomplishments.
Here's a trivia. Who was the last rookie to win both the Offensive Rookie of the Year award and the MVP in the same season?